Welcome to Thank God It's a Story Saturday, a weekly video series where I share stories with you that you can use to make your messages connect. Today's story is a research story. I heard Malcolm Gladwell tell this story in a Microsoft event. So the research is that the experimenters have hung two ropes from the ceiling. They are so further apart that you can't just pull one rope from this side, the other from that side, and join them. So the task of this particular experiment is that you have to find 4 ways to bring these ropes together. There are certain props lying around in the room, and you can use these props to do that naturally. Just by holding 1 and 2, they won't come together. So people are brought in and they start this experiment. So the first thing people do is they see a chair, they tie one rope on one side of the chair, and then they tie the other side, and they bring the 2 ropes together. Then they see an extension cord, and then they do the same with the extension cord, and then they see another prop that they can use to bring the 2 chairs together. Now, for the 4th combination, they're just standing over there trying to figure it out. How can they bring the ropes together? Because no more props are left and they can't just figure out what is another way to be able to do this. At this point, they're doubting themselves and thinking, this seemed like an easy thing to do. Am I that stupid? I can't really figure it out. 10 minutes into this kind of confusion, the experimenter just gets up and pretends to go and get a coffee from the other side of the room. And on his way, just gently rubs his shoulder against the rope, and the rope does a pendulum-like movement. When people in the room watch that pendulum-like movement, they go, of course! They say, take the rope from one side, they throw it on the other side, go to the other side, grab the rope, and put the rope together. And when the researcher asks them, how did you think of that 4th way? They say, I was reminded of my 8th grade physics lesson. I'd learned about pendulum and the movement. Someone says, I was taken back to the movie I watched, Tarzan, through which I was reminded of them. None of them actually say that it's because you walked across the room and your shoulder rubbed against the rope, and that movement reminded me that that was another way for me to bring the 2 ropes together. Now, are they lying? No, they're not. This whole act of being reminded of that pendulum-like movement is so in their unconscious, it's so subtle that they're not able to figure out that that's how they were reminded of it. What's the point of the story? The point of the story is actually the problem of storytelling, as psychologists call it. When we have people making snap judgments on something and we ask them to rationalize their snap judgment just because they have to give us an answer, they come up with a story. Now, human beings are meaning-making creatures. Our brains chemically rewards us for being able to make a meaning out of something. So just because you're asking me, I'm going to make a meaning out of it and justify my decisions. And quite often, our judgments and decisions, which we've made based on a story we tell ourselves, are really not correct. So in your work, when you present or when you do any creative work and you are given a snap judgment by somebody that it's good, it's not good enough, the presentation was not really quite out there, you could have done slightly better. The point I'm making is that if you ask people to rationalize their judgment, they are going to make something up, and it's up to you to really stop and comprehend, is this the problem of storytelling, that they're just making a story and telling you, or is it really coming from there? Stay storied. I'll see you here next Saturday with another story.